Hello and welcome back. My name is Yana and you're watching Behind the Scenes of the Forgotten Magic of Bulgaria. The Forgotten Magic of Bulgaria is a one-woman theatre show about Bulgarian mythology and folklore, Scottish mythology and folklore, and how the two interact and influence one another. We are officially part of the lineup for Scotland's Year of Stories, and the Forgotten Magic of Bulgaria will premiere on the 28th of May in the Scottish Storytelling Centre in Edinburgh as part of the Thistles and Sunflowers Festival organised by the Bulgarian Cultural and Educational Centre in Edinburgh. So if you want to come and see the actual show, that will be on the 28th of May as part of the festival. But apart from the show, on the Saturday and Sunday, so 28th and 29th of May, I will also be there running some workshops on how to create your own puppets and how to breathe life into them and make them act. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try and create a puppet which will be similar to the puppets we'll be making there, with some very simple materials. Now, some of the things I've got here, what we're gonna use for our puppet's head is just a ball, one of those very small, very light balls that you can put in a ball pit. So I've got a bunch of them, I've got a whole bag here, and we're gonna use this ball for our puppet's head. Now today, I'm not going to give you very detailed instructions because I want you to come to the festival and then I'll be able to give you more help while you're creating your puppets. But today, I'm just going to kind of show you the basic idea of them. I got one here that has been pre-made. It's this little guy, right? So he's got his little head, he's got very nice hair. Look at his hairstyle, he's wonderful. And he can look in both directions, he can wave at you a little bit, he can do loads of different things. So we'll try to make one a little bit like him, maybe a little bit different. They're all very different, they all have their own personalities. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the head. And to do that, I'm going to use this bowl and just some masking tape, some paper tape. So I'm gonna wrap my bowl in the tape all the way around until the color is hidden. It's not green anymore, it's mostly white. So this doesn't need to be neat at all, it can be quite messy. So you have to remember that puppets are supposed to be on a stage, and on a stage from a little bit further away things look different, so you can sometimes afford to be not very neat. All you have to do to make sure that your puppet is effective is just give them a lot of personality, and we can do that by giving them big eyes or big hair or just by the way that we lead them. Rather than cutting off the last bit of tape, I'm actually now going to use the same tape to create the puppet's neck and the puppet's lead. So the little bit at the back of the head of the puppet that you're gonna use to control it. So in order to do that, I'm just gonna start wrapping my tape like this. So just getting further and further away from the actual bowl. And again, you can be quite messy with this. And when you feel like you have enough tape, tear it off. And then we're just going to do this. So now, you've got a little bit of a neck, you know where your puppet's neck is. It's gonna be just here. So this is where you're going to attach it to the body. For the lead, we're gonna need more tape than this, so you need to make sure that you can comfortably hold on to that bit of extra tape So when you push it all together, it should be quite hard and quite easy to grasp so that you can lead the puppet. So let's try to do that. So remember, if this is the neck pointing down, you need to figure out where the back of your puppet's head is, and that's where you're going to put the lead. So they're going to be at a right angle from each other, the neck and the lead. There we go. Make sure you squish it all together so that it's sticking quite nicely. Just a little bit more there. Tear it off now. Tidy up the edges. Excellent. Okay, there we go. So, as you can see, this bit here is poking out quite a lot. I can very easily grasp it, and it will be actually quite comfortable leading this puppet, controlling it and making it look right, look left, look up, all of those things. So we have our puppet's head. Now we want to give it quite a lot of personality. So in many puppets, the head is kind of the most important bit. That's where the face is. So in order to give it a lot of personality, I'm gonna give it a couple of big googly eyes. I've got a bag of them here. They're quite easy to find in craft stores. So I've got a whole bag of eyes. So my puppet, in this case, is gonna have really big eyes. And I'm gonna use just little pieces of tape that I am going to stick to themselves with the sticky bit pointing out. And here we go. Let's just smooth them down a little bit. So now our puppet has eyes. Alright, we also need to give him a nose. So in this case, I'm just gonna use a marker pen to draw the nose on. So because I want to be making a fairy puppet today, I'm gonna give her quite a small, tiny, dainty little nose. I'll give her some eyelashes as well on her eyes. And I'm also gonna give her some eyebrows. Again, it doesn't matter if it's messy. It will look different from when you see it on stage. So as long as you can see the puppet's features, you can be quite rough with how you draw them. It's not gonna matter that much. I'm also gonna give her some pointy ears. I'm gonna draw that as well. Even though we're not really gonna see them, because once I put her hair on, it's not gonna matter too much, but I'll give her some ears. And let me see, do I have some red in here or another nice color for lips? We're gonna use the orange. I'm gonna give her some lips as well. Okay, and the final thing we're gonna give her is some hair. What I've got here is some shredded paper, so just some strands of paper. So I'm gonna take a little bit of that, and I'm gonna use some more tape to just stick a few strands of hair onto her head. Just get a scoop of that. Here we are. Alright, so she could use a bit more of a haircut, but I'm not gonna worry too much about it right now. This could be the final thing, just making her look as good as possible. But for now, we've got our puppet head. And she does have quite a lot of personality. She's got big features. You'll be able to see her eyes from some distance away. Now we need to make her body. To make the body, we're just going to use one of these very simple envelopes. So what I'm gonna do is, this is the sticky bit where you close the envelope, but instead of closing it, I'm just going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to stick it to itself just like this. So now we've got a rectangle, and this rectangle has got some volume because it's the type of envelope that's got a little bit of bubble wrap inside of it. So I've got this rectangle, and this is going to be our puppet's body. Now the first thing we want to do, before we decide what kind of body shape she's going to have, is we need to make sure we know where and how we're going to attach the head. So remember, we have a little neck here, which is showing us where we want to attach it. Now you can decide whether you want to make a puppet that has a neck that can move, it can go up and down and side to side, or you can have a puppet that doesn't really move its neck. If it wants to move, it's going to move its entire body. Now the second type of puppet is easier to make, then you don't have to worry about the neck, but I will try to make a more articulate puppet which can move its neck as well. So to make the neck of the puppet as well as the arms and the legs, we're going to use some duct tape. And the good thing about duct tape is that it's fairly resilient. It's not going to break easily. It's going to last quite a long time. So this is one of the reasons I like using duct tape. This is always the tricky part, just cutting duct tape, because it's very, very sticky. But we've got a little piece of duct tape here, which I'm going to use to create the neck. Now, one part of it is going to stick to the envelope, but if you're making a neck that you want to turn sideways as well as up and down, you're going to have to make this piece smaller, because you see how wide it is? That's going to prevent it from easily moving around like this. So I'm going to cut this in half, which again is the tricky part because it's going to stick to my scissors. From a certain point on, it's actually easier to tear it. So I'm going to do that. There we go. I'm going to use one of these pieces, find the middle of my envelope, stick that there. Okay, so I've used two pieces of duct tape, one wrapping around the other to create a neck. I've also used some more duct tape to create her waist, so just squishing the envelope together, and two big pieces of duct tape to create her arms. And on the end of her arms, just little pieces of paper that are going to be the hands. If you want to get more detailed, you can draw some fingers, or you can get more detailed in the shape that you cut out. It doesn't matter, you can use something else for hands, you can just get creative. So I'm going to stick her other hand on as well. I'm just using a little piece of white paper right now, just keeping it quite simple for the moment. So she's got arms and hands now as well. So the last little thing we want to give her is legs, even though at this point you already have a puppet that you can use. So if we imagine that her skirt is quite long, you can just have her on the table like this, and she's ready to go. So you don't have to make legs for this one, but we're gonna do that anyway, just to see how we can do it, right? So this one, you can keep her like this if you like it, or you can make some legs for her. I'm gonna make some legs. I'm gonna use the duct tape, which is exactly what I used for the arms, so now you can see the process of how that happens. So it's just gonna be a long piece of duct tape, not too long because she's got a long skirt on. So under the skirt, we don't want the legs to be too long under that. Cut off the piece of duct tape. Now the only difference between the arms and the legs in this case is that I want her feet to be quite heavy so that they're weighing her down, so that her legs don't just go crazy and fly all over the place. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to use some 1 penny or 2 penny coins, whatever I fish out, right? So I'm gonna use, I've got a few little 1 penny coins here, which I'm going to wrap in my tape, and this is going to be her feet. So these are obviously heavy because they're coins, so they're going to weigh her down a little bit. And then I'm just gonna smoosh the tape together, but make sure you leave enough of a clear sticky part to actually stick it to her skirt. And here we are. So you can maybe hear, well, a little bit. You can hear a little bit, her feet are quite heavy. So they kind of clatter on the table, that's the little coins. And you want that because when you are acting with your puppet, you don't want to worry about the legs. You want the legs to be firmly on the ground. You can do things with the legs. So for example, if I have my left hand on this leg, I can move it around, but you don't want to have to worry about them because quite a lot of the time you want to be acting with the face and the arms and the hands. So this is our little puppet. Now I said at the beginning I wanted to make a fairy puppet, so the only thing she's missing is a pair of wings, which I'm going to create just from some white paper and stick them on her back. Again, I'm gonna do this very simply this time. You can go a lot more elaborate with this, but I'm just gonna draw like a very simple butterfly shape here. There we go. And now she's got her little butterfly wings as well, and she's ready to go and tell you a story. Thank you very much for watching this video. Again, we didn't go into too much detail today, but if you come and try to make a puppet in our workshops on the 28th and 29th of May, if you come to the Scottish Storytelling Centre, then I will be able to give you a lot more help, and also you can get very creative with these puppets. No two puppets are going to be alike. You can improvise, you can do whatever you want with them, and they are completely usable in a theatre setting. There's actually quite a lot of things that you can do with them. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to follow along with the project, you can use all of the social media links below this video, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye!